Guys, I wish I could say happy holidays, but it just keeps getting sadder. It just keeps getting sadder and sadder. I was literally reading this chapter and I was like, he doesn't deserve it. He doesn't deserve it. Poor guy, man. I missed 1099. I actually thought there was a break this week, but there wasn't. Literally right when I was about to start the video to do a 1099, 11 hundo came out. Now, I was wrong. I thought 11 hundo would kind of be a bit more, but still a solid chapter. On the backstory, it included so many extra characters. I think that was kind of the nod that it was the 1100, because if you look back, every 100 chapters there's something pivotal that happens. There's always something pivotal in that chapter, whether it's a small thing or a big thing. It has importance, it has weight to it. But damn, dude, going through it, Kizaru just tells Vegabunk to chill. I find it interesting that Borsalino didn't feel the need to like be like, I'm gonna beat Kuma up and then like make him listen to this. Kuma was just like, I'll listen. And even later, Kizaru's like, I'd love to have him on my side, almost as if they're somewhat comparable in terms of strength. I think that might be a bit of a stretch considering what Admiral level truly means, but given recent events of Borsalino getting punched in the head, I'm not so sure. I don't know that for sure. The Pawpaw fruit is broken, and Kuma is a fully loaded Ford F-150 or something, sponsored by. But he's huge. He's got the Buccaneer blood. Bullets do nothing to him. He's a literal tank man. He's ginormous. Saturn's also growing as a villain. He seems to be way more in the forefront than I thought he would be for Egghead, just because I'm like, when I see Saturn, now that we know that they can fight, I'm like, isn't he just a part, like the spokesperson for the Gorosei right now? But no, they're making him very much his own individual. And so I'm interested to see who's weaving the webs, which other Gorosei are weaving the webs, or if Saturn's the guy who's kind of in charge of all the people on the floor. I forget his direct, what his title was. I got to go back and look at that, but that probably correlates to this. But he agrees to let modifications happen to his body, joining the Seven Warlords of the Sea, and giving all sense of free will and individuality up, which is insane because that is just fucked up. And Kuma's like really thinking about it. He's like, fuck, this sucks. And even Vegapunk is like, dude, that's fucked up. Why are we doing this to a guy? That's basically me killing him. And then Kuma's like, yeah, I'd happily do that to cure Bonnie. He's the biggest sweetheart in the galaxy, man. Like, it's insane to me. But he decides to make that deal. They have a agreement, and it's obviously going to go sideways about what they're going to do with Bonnie during his next couple, because I think there's a 6-month gap when he needs to still have operations done to him, and while Bonnie's being healed, you can't do anything. Like, we need you to not jump ship, which, I mean, he's a very trusting person. He always sticks to his word. He always does what he says he's going to do. We also see Vegapunk with the ginormous head, with the humonga head, and him talking about how I need people to do things like eating and different stuff for me. And obviously that's happened at this point, just a couple of years later, but the dude develops fast. I mean, if you think about in about 3 years time, I think the end tells us it's been about 3 years, about a little over 3 years, he was able to make punk records, make all the different, I forget what they're called, but bodies for him, and then make the Luna Fistas on top of that. Insane. And on top of all of that, even more stuff like the sea beasts and different things. This happened so quick. It's like, holy shit, that guy is a menace to society. Like, whatever he's making is fucked up. The years go by, they kind of flash forward. Sentamaru's there, Kizaru's there. The bonding is happening. The picture that Bonnie actually drew is the picture that's on Kuma's ship, if you didn't realize that. And I believe he travels alone. This man lives a lonely life. The only girl that he ever like loved and felt for died. And now he's raising her daughter. Not even his blood daughter. Pretty sure, right? Pretty sure. I don't think that's the case, but pretty sure. Because the timeline just tells us that's not the case. We see Queen Connie, and that's somebody that Bonnie faked that she was during the reverie. If you remember, her sneaking in and kind of being there, but it turned out it was Bonnie, so I don't know if something bad happened to her, but probably. And the reason for that is because of Alpha, the CP8. I'm so used to saying CP0, but the CP8 member who's watching over Bonnie to be like, Kuma, you better not do any bullshit. And even Kuma knows that this is the last time that he's going to see Bonnie and just saying goodbye. And like at this point, I'm getting choked up, but I'm just like, dude, like Kuma does not deserve this kind of disrespect. But even like this far in, he's still he's still very much human. So I don't know exactly what procedure it is that like kind of turns him away from that, but it seems to happen relatively quickly. It's kind of tough to say at this point, but relatively quickly. We get a look at all of the old warlords. We get some flashbacks to Mr. Zero and Robin, which is great. Even Kobe with Alvida. And then all of this, you're kind of like, oh shit, like this was just before Luffy set off. And even back when it said that Ace took care of a warlord, I was like, that was him fighting Jinbei, right? And then we zoom forward in the chapter and it was Jinbei finding a replacement. And that panel is insane because you have Marco, Blackbeard, Ace, Jinbei, and Whitebeard. And they're all just chilling right there, like all friendly. And now if you zoom forward, Whitebeard's dead. Marco's pissed but still there. Blackbeard's a bastard. Jinbei's a straw hat, and Ace is dead too. So that panel by itself is kind of nuts. We see everybody, and then we get to Dragon and Sabo being so confused. Like, why would he work for the government? Aren't warlords working for the government? And they don't really know, but now we know. Now we know the fact that he did this all to save Bonnie. All of it. And the damage that he's going to probably cause is insane, but I feel like he's going to make up for it. Halfway through this chapter, I thought that maybe where Kuma's going is to say bye to Bonnie, but he can't do that because he said that he wouldn't see Straw Hat ever again. So unless they leave and Bonnie like sacrificed herself, which I don't see, the chapter or the title of this chapter is Thank You Bonnie. So I was thinking maybe some type of sacrificial, but we're still in the past. The ship has her drawing on it, which is great. He's sending her letters constantly, just checking in, and then the government's kind of telling him what's going on and what needs to happen. And then this part's kind of wild. So I had a couple thoughts, but the end is he's in the East Blue, but he's not just in the East Blue. He's at Fusha Village, where Luffy is. Where Luffy's like kind of about to set sail in a couple of months, I would assume. And I don't know what he's doing here. I don't know exactly what we're going to see here. It's kind of weird because a lot has already happened in that kingdom as a whole, in Goa. I don't know what he's doing there. Shanks isn't going to be there. The Gum Gum or Nika fruit is already eaten. I don't know if they're like wanting him to take out Luffy now. It kind of seems like he's off on an assassination mission, but clearly he didn't do that. And up to this point, we haven't really learned too much about what he knows about Dragon's Son, about Nika, about all that. But what we do know about him protecting the ship and telling Luffy before the time skip that this is going to be the last time I see you, and that he clearly is doing that to help them, I think that comes into play right now. And he might... It's tough to say. They might be pissed at him because he didn't kill him, but that's the only thing I can think of. They lost the fruit there, and he's probably going to search for it, probably find proof of it, and then the connection to Dragon. But whatever happens here is kind of nuts. It's kind of nuts that they could like hide this little egg in here. No pun intended, but I'm interested to see what happens. Kuma's a sad one, man. It's sad. Hell of a chapter. Not even a break next week. Just sadness right now. Hope you guys enjoyed the chapter. Merry Christmas, and I'll see you next week. Bye.